Here someone can join.
So let's come. Hey everyone who joined. We're actually a couple minutes early, so we're going to make sure everything works. The sound works, the audio works. Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well. So nice. So I can hear you, I can see you well, so that's good. Can you see and hear me
Perfect.
well?
Yep, I'm gonna turn my phone so that
Yeah,
way we have the same, yeah,
perfect.
regions.
Um, we actually have a couple of users on now. So okay. So we actually have a couple of users on now. So this is just a couple minutes before our live, so we're just testing out to make sure everything works.
I'm just gonna change some settings on my phone to make sure there's no problems.
Yeah, sure.
Can we just continue the same meeting? The same session now that you have 5 users?
No, we're not going to break it.
You sure? There we go.
Okay. Um, so Jennifer, I actually this is Aliza. So she also works at Berlocks. She does the marketing for Berlocks. So I should have asked you before, but I apologize that I haven't. But would you be comfortable with two people, both of us on live, or would you prefer just me? Either is fine for us.
Either is fine with me as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay then. Okay, we have a couple minutes before we start, so let us resituate as well.
You find
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, we thank you again for joining us for this live. It's gonna
Oh,
be
it's my pleasure. Yeah.
how have you been?
I've been quite well. I had a pretty productive day and I worked on my website and I really enjoyed the outcome, so it's nice.
Yeah, nice. What changes are you making to your site?
I updated it so it looks a little bit more my style, a little
Yeah,
bit more authentic to me, and a little bit fresher. I found my old website to be a bit too cold, so I
yeah,
made this one a bit warmer.
yeah. So some design changes to the site.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. We actually have, so whoever is on live now, you get a sneak peek into like what's happening. But we're releasing a updated profile page, so there you can like do a lot more than what you can currently do on the Berlocks page. So now everyone has a little hint of what's coming.
Cool.
Yeah. Um,
wanna start?
I guess we have a few more minutes, but we can begin with maybe you could share some background as to what Berlocks is as like an introduction.
Yeah, sure. So we started Berlocks. So Berlocks.com has been live for 3 months now. Maybe it's a little bit more than 3 months now. But we really started Berlocks because we wanted to help our younger selves to make better, faster decisions. So when we were 20 or just when we were younger, we faced problems that we didn't know how to solve. We didn't know like the resources out there or just the like steps to take to solve the problem. So we want Berlocks to be that place where we can go share our problems and then get quality solutions from people around the world. So that's the like big idea behind Berlocks. So we've been out for 3 months now, and we're pretty happy with like the range of problems that we get on the site. So it's a little bit of like mental health, a little bit of students graduating from college and like high school level, and they want to better understand what to do next. To like even like health and fitness. That's interesting that we get that there. So yeah, yeah, family problems too. Actually, we have an interesting one. We have like a person who in their home they believe they're going through like some paranormal activity. So yeah, it's pretty cool and fun to see like the types of problems we get in there. So
Yeah, it sounds like a very eclectic type of problem, or
yeah, right.
very varied and very personal. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's it. I mean, I mean, to be honest, we're actually thinking of maybe the Berlocks space isn't the right place for that problem, but we thought some more and we said that this person is really facing this problem and it is a very real and personal problem to her. So it makes sense to stay on the site.
Yeah, I like the accepting approach of that.
Yeah. Right. So that's a little bit about Berlocks. For everyone on the live, if you want to learn more about Berlocks, there's definitely our Instagram page. And of course, as well, Berlocks.com. There you can create your account and then share a problem that you have or share a solution to help someone else. So we encourage everyone to do that because when you do that, you add goodness into the world.
Yeah.
We are... Looks like it's 7, so we'll start this this live session. So Berlocks is here with Jennifer, and she heads to be heard counseling. And so Jennifer is really cool. We met through Instagram, and she has a very unique approach to one I haven't seen before to therapy and counseling for her patients. So in this live, we want to ask her a little bit more about like what she does and her practice, as well as discuss some interesting topics.
Sounds good.
So again, thank you, Jennifer, for joining us for this live. If you can share a little bit more about what To Be Heard Counseling is.
Sure. So basically, To Be Heard Counseling is a cumulative career that I've taken from various educational experiences I've had, various career experiences I've had, and I've combined them all into a career that I'm calling counseling. And it's basically, I work with people on a therapeutic level, and I do some traditional forms of counseling, such as like cognitive behavioral therapy or a lot of person-centered approach to therapy. And also I have some trainings in yoga teaching. And so I decided to combine my capacity as a yoga teacher into counseling. And so with some clients, what we do is that we'll practice yoga, and then depending on what kind of experiences they have within that yoga practice, it'll give us material to work with as a therapeutic practice as well.
I see. So it's a like hybrid solution of like mixing counseling and yoga sessions. Why did you choose that like hybrid approach?
I don't know if I would say I chose it. I think it happened quite organically based on being able to provide yoga sessions. I'm teaching private yoga sessions, so one-on-one. And then I realized over the years that a one-on-one yoga session is a very therapeutic way of teaching somebody yoga. And then I had a client who was interested in mixing yoga into the counseling sessions. And so he discovered me through a counseling perspective. And then when he learned that I was also able to teach yoga, he thought that that might be a really interesting approach to be able to work through some of his issues through the physicality of yoga, and then being able to be supported in a therapeutic setting.
So how would a normal like session work? So let's say I'm one of your clients and then I come, do we do like therapy first and then for maybe half hour and then yoga for a half hour?
Sometimes they've worked like that, and other times it's also worked where we'll do yoga for the entire time, and then in between each posture, we'll have information to talk about. And so it really depends on the desires of the client and what they want. And so some clients want that more a half-hour yoga practice and then a half-hour counseling, or vice versa. And then some are really enjoying the idea of, we'll take on one pose and we'll see the challenges that come up in that pose. And then we'll work through those challenges, whether they be physical or emotional or psychological, and we'll play with it. So it's quite creative and quite different with each person.
Right, interesting. That's really cool. Yeah, because we've been practicing yoga. So I've been practicing yoga for 6 months. She's been practicing for a little bit longer. And like for all the yoga gurus out there, there's like different types of yoga we've come to know. So there's like yin yoga, there's like Vinyasa yoga, I believe it's pronounced. Is there a typical like style that you use in your sessions?
I don't think I would have a specific style. I would say that my training is in a very alignment and precision-based yoga practice. So figuring out how to move a person's body in a way that's beneficial for them rather than just looking like a certain pose. So the idea I use is to not have somebody look like, this is what the yoga pose is and you have to fit into that mold. It's more like, how does this yoga pose look like on you? So that's the approach I take.
Right, and you're mentioning that like when you mix yoga and counseling, so it's different for each person, and then maybe how like they respond to that hybrid solution is a little bit different. Can you tell us a little bit more about like the benefits you've seen with this hybrid solution?
Yeah, I think one of the benefits I've seen is when people take on challenges that might be a bit easier for them. So let's say if people take on a challenge physically, so like they're able to hold a pose that they weren't able to hold the week before, or they're able to do a little bit more stretching, or they're able to do something that they weren't able to do before physically, that challenge can increase confidence. And then with that increased confidence, they can take that to the other realms of their inner world, say. So it'll give them the confidence to handle the challenges maybe emotionally or spiritually or psychologically. And I think that going down that path through the physicality of yoga, it can be a very beneficial way for a lot of people, because a lot of us are used to moving our bodies, and so we're comfortable there already, or we can be more comfortable than dealing with, let's say, perhaps challenges emotionally or psychologically. It's like a gentle gateway to the inner world.
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. We definitely agree with that. I'm very curious, so I have to like ask a question off script. But I've again been a practitioner of yoga for about 6 months now, and so when I tell some of my friends about it, they say that some of them say like, oh, I'm a Christian, or I'm religious, and like they aren't open to the opportunity of yoga. So it seems there might be like I don't know, maybe some level of misinformation, or maybe some level of like a lack of understanding that maybe like yoga is affiliated with a religion, or maybe a particular so mainly it would be like religion, or maybe even culture. Have you seen that in your experiences, where like maybe someone comes and then you offer this hybrid system of yoga and counseling, but they say like yoga might not be for me for like maybe religious reasons, or some reason like that, not like the physical realm, but like more religiously?
I haven't experienced that as a counselor or teacher. I have experienced that as a yoga student in various settings, where I'll encounter other teachers who take yoga to be almost like dharma or a religion, as like this panacea for all the world's problems. Like if everybody did yoga, the world would be fine, kind of thing. But I haven't actually experienced somebody being hesitant to try yoga within my own practice for religious reasons. But I have heard of many people who ask. I teach mindfulness workshops as well, and I had one teacher that I was training to do these mindfulness workshops, and she was quite hesitant to be a teacher because she found that teaching mindfulness was counter to her religious beliefs. And so it became this interesting thing as to what is her definition of mindfulness and what definition was I using, and how could we work together to figure out, to remove the religious aspect of it, or to help each other see each other's point of view more clearly.
Right. That's very interesting. Yeah. You have something to share about that one?
No, just I know that some people look at it as some religious. Like for me personally, when I started to do, and like I didn't tell much people, but my grandma, she is religious. She's Orthodox, and when she saw my picture when I'm doing yoga, she saw some picture. I know she was like asking me some question about that. So she was thinking like maybe I'm like going into some religion. It was her first thoughts. So yeah, I guess it's just very like religious part of the people. They would think maybe it's not right to do, but I think for the rest of it just I don't take personally me. I don't take it as some religion. I know it came from more from like west part, east part of the world, but I don't think I take it as some cultural thing. So it's different for everyone.
Exactly, and I think it's different for everyone. And the idea of religion can be from anywhere. Like I've seen, I mean, this might be a bit of a tangent, but I've seen people take various philosophies and turn them into religions. And sometimes they don't have to be religions, or it's interesting what people do turn into religious ideas or beliefs.
Right. Yeah, that's very interesting. So for anyone on the live and whoever watches this after, we would encourage you. I think the three of us, I speak for the three of us, that we would encourage you to try yoga and see how it works for you. See if you like it, and see if it works with your like lifestyle. And I mean, I can speak personally that I've seen a lot of like benefits, and I'm very happy that I've started yoga. So that's my experience with it.
And it's all about finding what works for you and figuring out what doesn't work for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you have like course of your yoga counseling, or it's how long each person needs?
It's basically how long each person needs, and it functions pretty much like counseling sessions. So usually it can take a while to develop throughout counseling sessions. And so, 6 weeks is sort of a nice beginning type of session, or let's call it beginning type of course. I've had some who come every week for a couple of months. I've had some clients who prefer to just come like once a month or whenever they can. So again, it really depends on people's schedules, people's availabilities, and people's desires.
Interesting. So on your website, you speak about like counseling, you speak about yoga, you speak about mindfulness, and then you also speak about introspection. So that seems to be a big focus of your practice. Can you explain a little bit more about like what that is and why it's so important?
Sure. Introspection can be defined as our ability to experience our inner worlds. It's our ability to experience our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, our sensations, our ideas. And I think that can be an incredibly empowering practice, because if we get to know ourselves better, we get to know how we relate out into the world. We learn better how we connect to other human beings, and we learn better how we connect to ourselves. And a lot of our power lies in our capacity to understand ourselves based on some of my beliefs, and being able to not only observe our inner worlds, but then process our inner worlds, also clarify issues that we have in life. It might help clarify hopes and dreams and desires, or problems and suffering. And so I think introspection and taking time inwards and time to just, learn who I am and learn what I like and what I don't like, what are my preferences, what kind of thoughts do I have, what kind of feelings do I have? What kind of reactions do I have to things? When we start looking at that kind of stuff, we can start being able to choose that kind of stuff. We can choose how we want to react to things. We can choose what kind of things we want to be thinking about. We can choose where our energy goes. And in that choice lies a lot of empowerment. And so I think that introspection is a skill that can be developed. And it's a skill that can be very empowering for many reasons.
Right. Yeah, I 100% agree with that. If you could share like some like let's say if you had like 3 quick tips that the people viewing this could go away from this live and understand like, okay, this is like how I can self reflect more and how I can have like practice more introspection. What 3 things would you say?
I'd say reflect on previous behaviors that maybe made you feel uncomfortable, and then reflect on previous behaviors that made you feel comfortable and see if there's any correlation between those 2 things. I'd say take some time to figure out what it is you're spending time thinking about, and notice the kind of language you use on yourself. You find yourself using very negative language or very positive language. Just notice. And then I'd say take a lot of deep breaths and be very gentle with yourself when learning something new and when going inwards. It can be quite new and it can be quite overwhelming. It can be super fun. And
Right.
I'd say learn about yourself with a sense of curiosity being like the foundation of how you learn about yourself. Be curious to who you are.
Right. Yeah, those are some great tips. So I also practice meditation with yoga, and those are some like key like principles that. So I work off a like guided meditation with Headspace app. It's a like iPhone Android app that. So it's guided. So there's a person on the other end like walking you through the meditation. But those like everything that you just said, it's a very like key principles brought up there. So it's very cool to hear you say it too.
Thanks. And I think that, we can label all of this as meditation, or we can just label it as like examining one's own life.
Yeah, right.
And like, I really
Right.
like, there's a quote from John Kabat-Zinn, who's a very well-known mindfulness educator. And he says, the real meditation is how you live your life. And so one of my teachers many years ago said, anybody can sit on a yoga mat and meditate. And it's how do you apply these principles into your daily life? That's the game, if we want to call it a game.
Right.
Yeah.
That's extremely insightful. Because when I started meditation too, it was it was for those like 10 minutes, 15 minutes that I was sitting there. But through the practice, it's 100% like it's 100% like it carries over to the real world, and it's how you like understand and react to your real world. That's the like great benefit of meditation that I've found. So totally agree with you. So for this next session of our live, I just want to bring up some topics that we can discuss together. So the first one is, in today's age, do you think it's difficult for people who are facing problems to seek help? And why is that so?
I think it can be very difficult to seek out help, especially if we're not used to seeking out help. Oftentimes people are used to dealing with their problems on their own, or they might not have a community that they feel safe with sharing their problems with, so they can feel very isolated or very unsure of who to reach out to. And so what appealed to me about Berlocks was this idea of being able to reach out anonymously, being able to reach out to people who don't necessarily know each other, and still being able to receive help from that way. And I think that when it comes to a lot of problems that people want help with, there can be a lot of emotional struggles going on. So there can be maybe some shame or some guilt or fear or confusion, or maybe somebody feels really disoriented. And so reaching out for help might take a little bit of clarity that they feel like they have. So figuring
Right.
out, I want to reach out for help, but I don't know who to reach out to or how to reach out. Yeah.
Elise, the same question for you. What do you think? Do you think in today's age it's difficult for people to going through problems to get help?
Yes, as you said, we come up with Berlocks, and in my head, it's so big that that people usually when they face problem, they usually close in themselves. So new way, like Berlocks would be like a new way to reach out for help. It would be because sometimes problems are connected with our relatives, so we're not gonna solve them with them or with our friends, or it's kind of like sometimes for person, even maybe it's not right, feels shameful to share something, they shy to share something with other person, and to say it online or like counseling with person they don't know before, it's much easier than just talk to person who knows you. They also probably judge you, so you don't want to judge based on your before behavior or something. But
You're talking about family and friends.
yeah, family and friends are they they think they know you, so they're gonna recommend you something. They're probably gonna be heavy on you, putting some advices, and they think you have to follow them. So that's why sometimes people don't share, or if they share, it doesn't help. Problem not solved. They just recommend them something they don't want to do. So it's really nice to have different ways to solve your problems and share with other people.
Yeah, and
Yeah. And again, it becomes very empowering to choose who we reach out to or like how we want to reach out. Or oftentimes, if people are giving us, unsolicited advice, it kind of takes away our sense of freedom and our ability to
yeah,
find our own answers. Yeah.
so my perspective on this is that I think that if a person is facing a problem, maybe that the first step to get help, to like seek resources or seek advice or seek counseling or whatever that they choose, that's like the most difficult part. But I believe that the second part, actually getting help, is so incredibly I mean, I should say it's like much easier today than it was years ago. Through the use of technology and the internet, there's a lot of services coming up, and you to find those services, it's a lot easier for the end user too. So there's I know like a couple therapy services available. So it's like BetterHelp. Another one is like Talkspace, where you can find a connect with a therapist and connect with them over text, over phone, over video chat from the comfort of your own home. So you don't actually have to go see the therapist. I mean, of course, that adds like a level of like difficulty where it's harder to form a connection with your therapist, but it does add like the convenience of it, of staying at home. So I think, I mean, the internet has definitely facilitated a lot of growth in the area of like, solving your problems. So even if you don't go like towards the route of like seeing a therapist for help or like a counselor for help, you can share your problem to like, so Berlocks would be a place you can share, or like Reddit, or like Quora, or like Facebook group, like private groups. So I think the like resources and the mechanisms to solve the problem is it's there, and I think we live in a really cool time, to see that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with that one. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so the benefits. I mean, so on a high level, people do therapy and people do yoga to overcome their problems, to reduce their stress, and to overall feel more happy. But I'm curious, on a like ground level, on like a day-to-day level, what are some like improvements that like you guys have seen in your lives?
I think that some of the improvements I've seen is people developing their capacity to be with what is, and so to be with themselves in a more honest way.
Yeah.
And so rather than, thinking of it as I have to be happy all the time, I can think of it as I can be me all the time, and whatever's going on, I'm more confident in being able to handle whatever might be going on, whether it be happiness or something else. Yeah, and I think that um, perhaps people who are not as resilient as they want to be, practicing things like yoga and developing more strength physically can also help them develop more strength emotionally, like I was mentioning before, and it increases their capacity to be resilient in the face of a challenge. And so I really enjoy seeing people grow in a way that is beneficial to their capacity to be resilient, and is it's just sort of beautiful to see people shine through their sufferings or their struggles, and to find like this desire to, oh, you know what, like it's okay to be sad sometimes, or it's okay to be angry, it's okay to be challenged, and it's what I do when I'm challenged or when I'm sad or when I'm angry that's where we can learn skills to be the human beings that we really want to be.
Right. What about you? What's like some like day-to-day improvements that you've seen practicing like yoga, also like meditation, also like just I think mindfulness is what we want to like communicate in this session. So mindfulness is also.
Yeah, so it's in general, I'm very emotional person in a bad or good way. I get like so excited about something and I can't stop like thinking about something. It's kind of yoga and meditation help me to calm down during the meditation and yoga, and then apply it to everyday life.
Yeah. Here?
Hey, apologies for that.
Yeah. There we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I think I see you again.
Yeah.
Might take a
I
second.
don't see you.
Yeah, we don't see
good.
ourselves either.
It's good.
It's the problems with the live stuff.
Okay. Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's a good example of, being able to stay calm in the face of a stressor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you see and hear us now? Fine?
Yeah.
Okay. We can hear you fine. I think it's just the video that's loading, still loading.
Okay. I see myself, so I'm not sure how to.
Yeah, I think it's getting better.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, on our second.
It's a little bit choppy on your end. I'm not sure if I'm choppy as well.
Okay, yeah, it's coming back.
Yeah.
Okay, so apologies for that.
No, I don't.
Anything you want to add to?
Breaks a little bit sound.
Yeah, maybe if we just continue and then the connection will catch up.
I'm wondering.
Hope that solves it. Okay, so anything you want to ask what you're talking
Should we?
about?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, so I can bring more calmness into my life and don't be
I can hear you.
so overwhelmed by something. But it also gives me a lot of physical benefits in kind of different way than
I'm wondering.
other people.
Yeah, there's some connection issue. Jennifer, how about this? Let's end the live, and then we'll go live again, and then join us.
wanna text them? It's actually.
What if I leave and then come back?
Ruben, do you know if you hear us, or it's not good sound?
Yes, sounds good.
Okay, I think we're back on live. So we'll just wait until she connects again.
It's good. It's good connection. Should okay.
Okay, nice. It should be connecting again. Okay, perfect.
Hey.
Yeah, sorry for that. I got a call come in and then it totally cut me off the live.
It happens.
So the
We're developing our capacity to be with what it is.
yeah. So that's a really good example of like live how we handle our problems.
Exactly.
The last question that we asked was so on like a high level, therapy and yoga is good to help you feel better, to reduce stress, to make you overall happier. And then we're just sharing some of our experience of like what we see like day to day, the improvements we've seen in ourselves, be that mentally, be that physically, spiritually, in all those realms. And then Aliza, you were saying that it helps you like you want to like sum up that your response.
Yeah. It's helped me bring from the practice that calmness to my personality and like stop myself of overthinking something or getting upset about something and be more like calm in my head because I'm very emotional and it helps me a lot. And physical, it's more like I was looking for some practice. I was doing acrobatics before, and I need something challenging, very challenging, but still not like let's say cardio, right? So in physical way, it's very like matching what I wanted. It's challenge my body, but plus it's make me calm, not more. Um, how to say like after exercise, your heartbeat is very raised and you're very like excited. But this is different kind of practice, physical practice. I still challenge my body, and it's very nice. So it's I've been looking long time for something. I've been doing running, a little bit of gym, but in physical way, I think yoga matching very well my needs.
Nice. Yeah.
For me, I think stillness has been a big improvement that I've seen in my life. So before, even now, the day can get very like hectic. So I could be doing like one thing, and then I have like a task due like in by the end of the hour, and then also at the end of the hour I have to like join a meeting. And then like there's Instagram throughout the day, and there's like messages and emails, and like I'm checking Berlocks and stuff like that. So it gets like very like hectic and very busy. I think the biggest thing for me is like stillness, that I am able to like still my world pretty much, and focus on like one thing at a time, and focus on how to how to like handle one task at a time, do it mindfully, and be present in that time. So I think stillness for me is the biggest thing that I've seen through the practice of like yoga and meditation, and like higher level it would be like mindfulness, introspection.
Yeah, and I think for me too, like the word stillness resonates really well. Like I like the idea that I can come back to something like I use my breath as an anchor spot to practice with. So I come back to breath whenever, I'm feeling stressed or my thoughts are getting kind of chaotic or I'm feeling very anxious. I'll come back to my breath and I can find that sort of place of stillness with no matter what's going on externally. And like, I find that to be really empowering because then it's sort of, like no matter what's going on externally for me, I can come back to a place of stillness where I can be better able to handle what's going on. I might not want to handle what's going on, but sometimes we don't always get to choose what's going on.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
The breath is so incredible. It's something like when you if like there are any like runners here, when you run, you have to like very well control your breath and watch that. Through like yoga, through meditation, your breath is very, very important. So it's so cool how like the breath can be such a like anchor and such a like integral role in like different exercises that we do. Yeah. Anything else like on ground level that any like improvements that we see to our lives? It doesn't even have to be like productivity wise, but just like to feel better or in our minds.
It's for me. It's a think more positive.
I think yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. I'm saying it's in general think more positive of any situation in life, because I was kind of like skeptic. Can you say skeptic? Like skeptic thinker. I would assume that something the worst gonna happen, or what happened is like horrible. But now it's changed, so more positive way of looking on things.
Yeah, I think that me too. It's like a more positive outlook, and a more comfortable outlook on life. And so even if like I think back to things that used to stress me, used to cause a lot of anxiety, and I notice my reactions to them now, and I might still get stressed or anxious, but I'm way more comfortable with that stress or anxiety than I used to be. I feel better able to manage those emotions or manage that situation for sure. Yeah, I really enjoy that.
There's a huge like benefit to it, and it's something that you can see like day in and day out. It helps you in like everything that you do. It's very powerful. So Jennifer, if if viewers want to find out more about To Be Heard Counseling, where can they go?
You can go to my website, which is To Be Heard Counseling and counseling with 2Ls.com. There's also a Facebook page, which is To Be Heard Counseling, and there's the Instagram page.
Right. Yeah. Apologies. I just realized I said to be counseling, so it's To Be Heard Counseling. Yeah. So there's a website, there's a Facebook page, Instagram page, and also we'll share those links and resources after this live, so it's easier for people to get there.
Sounds good.
Anything?
Do you have any final thoughts on how mindfulness has helped you?
It's completely changed my life. It's that stillness of mind. It's I'll reference that again, but it's incredibly powerful. It's very empowering to like be able to proactively like be in control of your environment and what's in your head. Instead of like being reactive, instead of like being like extremely hectic, and then you go from the morning when you go into the office till whenever you head out of the office, and then you are like on your phone constantly, or you're checking something constantly, and you're always like doing. There's always a state of doing and a state of busyness that with mindfulness it helps you like alleviate that like hecticness. It stills your mind, it calms your mind, and it enables clarity, 100% clarity. That without it, I wouldn't have. So it's been incredibly powerful for me.
It's beautiful to hear these kinds of stories.
Yeah. Yeah, we're very big like proponents and like encouragers of yoga, of meditation, of like introspection. It's of mindfulness, of treating other people well, treating yourself well. That's something that you mentioned that I really agree with and really like. It's like treating yourself well too. It's being kind to yourself and understanding like patience with yourself, and it's understanding that like no matter where you are, you're exactly where you need to be. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And can you be in that place with some compassion?
yeah, absolutely, yeah. That's yeah. I think if we, yeah, I mean, you know, like for Berlocks, it's definitely been like it's a platform to help people better solve their problems. We want to empower people to make better, faster decisions. And but the like foundation of that, the root motivator of that, is to like help people. It's like to be kind, to add goodness into the world. You know, so it's a very like do good platform. So that's our like motivator. That's our like the foundation of why we started Berlocks and you know what we're doing. So
Yeah. And every little bit counts.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if we all do our parts to be kind to ourselves and to others, to add good into the world, then that will accumulate with everyone's action, and it will change the world. So you know, it all starts with.
Yeah.
And Gandhi had a super great quote. He said that we have to be the change that we want to see in the world. So we can't rely and like hope and like like predict like someone else would do it for us. We have to be like the people who start the change. You know. So it's very it's one of my favorite quotes. So. And Jen,
Beautiful words.
yeah, we Burlock, thanks you very much for joining us for this live. It's definitely it's been so interesting and so I mean it's great to like connect with someone who is also going through this journey of like mindfulness and to like hear like our experiences validated through your experiences. So it's been incredible fun for us. So we thank you very much.
Questions?
My pleasure. Thank you for chatting with me. It's been really fun.
Thank you.
Okay. So to find out more about Jennifer and To Be Heard Counseling, we will share resources after this live. And then, we encourage you to go check her out. It's super cool what she does. And we, I think the like hybrid approach, it's going to be like very, very helpful. It's something new that I haven't heard of before, but it looks to be very, very beneficial. So we encourage you to go check her out. And then until next time, we will be live next Thursday. And then until next time, take care of yourselves and take care of others. All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
See you next time.
See you.